Challenge, as I tell our team and I tell a lot of young people, it's in today's world, there's so much written on how to deal with failure. I think that's not become an issue with a lot of successful or teams that are trying to do some things they haven't done before. You got to learn how to deal with success. And, we get addicted to tomorrow really fast. And so the challenge, I think, when you start to look at how do you get guys to win, or how does, a winning streak or whatever evolve, it's those players, those teams are really focused on just today. You never get too far ahead of it. And that's something that, we work really hard at is being focused on just today. Like, that's all we're going to talk about. We're not talking about going to Hoover on Monday or anything like that. It's like, no, we got a game that starts at 6 o'clock on Thursday night right here.
Coach, you talk about you have such a phenomenal strategy towards the game, and especially mentally. And so I'm curious, when you say all these great things, who was it? Was there a coach that you worked with when you worked your way up the ranks, or an MLB manager that's kind of helped shape your coaching approach today?
I read a lot of books. I love to read. My kids give me a hard time, call me a nerd. So I love to read. I love to study. I ask a lot of questions. Yeah, Rocco Baldelli, when I was with the Minnesota Twins, Rocco and I did a lot together. He taught me a lot. And then I've been fortunate to be around some really special people. Brent Strom for a long time, who's a world-renowned MLB pitching coach. So I've known Brent for a long time, and he's given me a lot of wisdom over the years.
Coach, going back to when you came in here and inherited this program, obviously convincing Charlie to stay was a big part of it. We realized that. But did you see in the pieces and everything that you had around you what has materialized this season?
You hope that your recruiting process and your system is somewhat okay.
Yeah.
That's what we really did. We have a system that I don't talk a lot about. I don't want people to exactly know what we're doing, but we have I like to think we have a really good system of what kind of players we're looking at. Some of those things are, I want players that can play multiple positions. You look at how many players we've had that have been all over the field. That was by design. It gives you what we call lineup flexibility, so that you can match up when you're facing a tough, classic example, Florida's guy who's going on Thursdays really, really hard on left-handers. So you're trying to get as many right-handed bats in the lineup as you can, and to do that, you got to have some position flexibility.
Can you reflect on the move to Corey to lead off? I know we're reminiscing a little bit now, but
sure.
was that just was that a move that you knew you had to make, or was that an experiment at the time?
No, we look at things that we joke about the Moneyball line. He gets on base, and we really wanted somebody who we felt good about getting on base in front of Charlie. That guy doesn't need to steal bases at all, because if he does, then that just opens the base up for them to put Charlie on. And so we didn't care if the guy could run or not, or was a great base runner. We just needed somebody who was going to give us a quality at bat, who at times, because Charlie's behind him, is going to get some fastballs if the count works in his favor. And we needed somebody who could hit anybody's fastball, we thought, in the country, and that's, all those things fit Corey.
Is Charlie the epitome of your recruiting pitch to future possible walk-ons?
Sure, right? But I think never confuse Charlie's mental approach to just anybody with some talent who you're trying to get to walk on, right? Everybody talks about, brings that up, and it's like, well, Charlie's special, right? Mentally, we know the physical talent, but to bring up Charlie to another potential walk-on is almost unfair, in my opinion. But you better have a special mind to do what Charlie did from a walk-on.
Speaking of Charlie, how about Charlie Goldstein? Kind of where's he at for this weekend?
Now we're in a little different spot. Don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna continue to push him. If he doesn't throw this weekend, we'll see him in Hoover, I'm sure, at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as far as I'll go with you. I'm going to continue to evaluate, but I'm not going to now at this point just rush him into a game that could put him on the shelf for a long time.
You talked just now about taking it one at a time and players staying focused. How much is I know we talked this before too, but the maturity of a lot of your guys on your team, how much does that help making that mindset possible and working?
Yeah, it's hard to be mature, right? I mean, I think the older players get this, right? I mean, we used to talk about you got to eliminate distractions in life. You're not eliminating them now. You better learn how to manage them. They're not going away. And there's just too much, right, with what we're holding right now. So I think the older guys have understood that managing distractions is going to help us stay focused and concentrate longer, and have been able to impart that down to some of our younger players.
Wes, what did the sweep mean? I mean, I think this RPI was around 3. I see the 15 number. I see you're 5th in the SEC. I mean, is it about trying to land a super now? And how close do you think Georgia is realistically?
For us, sweeps are, I talk to our guys, and I mean no disrespect towards anything I'm fixing to say here. I don't ever get caught up in sweeps. I think it's great for your fan base and people to talk about, but it goes back to how do you impart winning, right? Well, you better play one game at a time. And it's kind of like I told our guys after the game on Friday night, guys, we're playing tomorrow like it's 0-0. And if we need to, I'll even tell you we're down 0-2, right? I mean, that's we have to take today, and it's so easy in this league to get caught up and just start throwing away outs and at bats and pitches just because you've already got a series done. And so I've been asked a lot, hey, guys, I just don't get there. It's like I've been in this league long enough to know that if we get ahead of ourselves and I start trying to chase that, we're not going to play very well this weekend. Then it's not even going to matter anyway. So we got a team coming in that, I think is now, well, they did lose a player, but other than that, they're getting really healthy on the mound, which they haven't been all year. And, let's not forget this team was one of the teams picked to win the national title before the season started, and they're desperate. So, we're going to have to play our best baseball this weekend or they'll run us right out of here. So we've got to show up, and we got to focus on today. You say all that, but then, I'm not naive enough to sit here and think I don't need to think about the program and what it means to potentially host and be a national seed and go to all of those things. Well, they're massive, right? Especially in today's age with recruiting and different things. We could have a whole segment on the portal. So it's massive.
What did you see click with Trey last weekend? Just kind of taking that next step at the plate.
I think Trey's been clicking. I think for us that we've seen it. When I say he's just not been healthy, right? I mean, he's. I don't come out and tell you all the time, he had a wrist thing early in the year, and then we had the knee thing, and then he had a rib, and it's just all this, he's had all these little bitty things throughout the year that have kept him from doing what he was able to do last weekend. And I think all you're seeing now is a real healthy Trey Phelps coming to the plate and doing some things we thought, he could do.
There were some issues exploited at South Carolina with Goldstein having some problems at the plate. Is there any thought of moving Trey up in the order?
Well, we're very matchup oriented. So if Dylan's not in the 3-hole, Friday or Thursday night against extreme tough left-hander, it's not because he's bad. It's because we think it's what puts us in the best position to win that game. So, yeah, no, Dylan's done fine. Hey, this game's hard. He's human.
Yeah.
He gonna hit a rough patch.
You mentioned Charlie being different mentally as well as special physically. How has he handled different attention from pitchers on the mound? All the surrounding right now in terms of speculation about the draft, the Spikes Award, everything that's circulated around him these days.
The great ones, I've said this for a while now, the great ones have this ability to expand their mind to uncomfortable levels and accept challenges. And he's got that. Paul Skeens had it. I can go through the guys I had in professional baseball, the Carlos Correas, the Sonny Graves, the Luis Ariases, all those guys, they have this ability to take on. They see it more of a challenge, and I'm going to handle it, and then I'm going to go show you I can do my business, kind of, so to speak, as opposed to a burden or some form of a distraction.
When you first came here, you mentioned that your number one rule was players had to be confident in themselves, and since then players have said that they felt that. How do you go about instilling that confidence?
Well, you know, I'm a very objective person in life, and probably too much to a fault, but I continually show them good things. I think the biggest thing to give a player confidence, you have to teach them to remember different. You know, we look at results, and a guy can go, you know, can strike out on an 8-pitch at bat, and everybody thinks it's a bad at bat, right? Or the average person does, and I'll pull back and reevaluate that different. How were the first 7 pitches? Did we get off a good swing? Did that guy execute a really good pitch to end the at bat? And so I think it's about how you remember, or how you look or reflect back on things.
Wes, how do you keep yourself hungry, both feet on the ground? I mean, obviously the job you've done this year is National Coach of the Year material. How do you keep yourself grounded when this program's where it's at right now after what you inherited?
Yeah, I mean, every day you got to get better in life.
Got time for a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, every day in life, if you're not getting better, somebody's going to catch you. That's probably my biggest fear in life, is that, you know, if you stop to, you know, reflect or take too much time doing, somebody's going to get you. So it's just go.
Coach Johnson, I've noticed that Fernando's been calling a lot of the pitches recently. How does his baseball IQ compare to that of other catchers his age that you've worked with?
Yeah, you know, I'll turn it over. I had a young man who's named Grant Cook at Arkansas, who was Team USA catcher, and him and Fernando are very, very similar as far as their mind goes. And Grant's still he's in AAA with the Pirates right now. But those guys, when they have that mind, and then I can sit down with them pregame and attack a game plan with them and say, all right, here's what we're going to try to do to whoever, right? Caglione or Curlin or whoever the guy is. Here's our plan. And now we still talk. You know, I don't know if you know. I mean, he knows how to get. You know, I'm still talking to him through the walkie-talkie, but there's times, you know, I'll be like, hey, no, right here, it's fastball, or it's changeup, or whatever the pitch is, or he'll look in at me and go, hey, I don't know what to do here. Help me. And you know, so we're constantly communicating, even though, but yeah, there's a lot there to unpack. But yeah, he's very sharp mentally.
Wes, you